This is Fitness Blender's Fast Abs 8-minute ab workout routine. For this workout, we're going to be going through one round of 7 different exercises that'll take us about 8 minutes total. You're not going to need any equipment for this routine, so let's go ahead and get started. Our first exercise is the W leg raises. Go ahead and grab a mat and lay flat on your back for this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Go ahead and bring those legs straight up over top of those hips with those feet nice and close together. Drop them down away from you till they're just a few inches off the ground. Then spread them apart really nice and wide. Bring those legs back up so they're about a 90-degree angle off of your torso. Then drop them back down. Bring those feet back together. And then back up to that start position. Just keep alternating back and forth. Trying to get as much range of motion out of those legs as you can. Trying to spread them apart as far as you possibly can. Making sure you're keeping that back nice and flat against that mat. So we're only doing 10 repetitions here, but we're actually doing 2 motions for every repetition. So you're going to go down with those feet together, spread them apart, bring them back up, back down with them apart, feet back together, and back up, and that's 1 repetition. So it's going to take us a little while to get through this. You should feel this exercise predominantly in your stomach muscles, those abdominal muscles, as well as the front of that hip, those hip flexors, and the top of that thigh, those quadriceps. Now you're trying to focus on getting as much range of motion as you can, but only as much as you can control. So as soon as that lower back starts to lift up off the mat, you're going a little bit too low with those legs. So only let those legs go as low as you can control without letting that lower back lift up. And we're almost done. Let's bring those feet back together, lift them up one more time, and let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We're doing a plank for 50 seconds. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Come up onto those toes if you can, otherwise you can do a plank off of those knees. Keep those elbows directly underneath those shoulders, keep those abs really nice and tight. You want to make sure you're actually feeling like you're doing a little bit of a crunch the entire time. Don't let your back sway, so you don't want that lower back to actually dip underneath you, letting your stomach muscles push forward. You actually want to keep your body slightly rounded forward, a little bit of a curve. You just hold it there, nice and steady. You can reposition if you need to, if your feet start to slip, if your elbows start to slip. But try to hold it as stationary as you can. And just about 10 seconds left. And 5 seconds left. And let it relax. All right, good job. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The frog leg crunches. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. We're doing 14 repetitions of these. Bring the soles of those feet together, kick those knees out to the sides, bring those hands back behind your head, and then nice and slow do a crunching motion, pulling those legs and those shoulders up off the ground as high as you possibly can, feeling like you're folding your body in half. Now you want to make sure that you're not pulling on your head with those hands. Those fingertips are just barely touching the back of your head, and focus on making sure that your abdominal muscles stay nice and contracted the entire time. And those elbows stay back out of your field of vision if you want to make it a little bit harder. So just try to focus on getting that really nice tight crunch, never letting those abdominal muscles relax until you're completely finished with all of these repetitions. And that was your last one right there, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We're doing the figure 4 leg raises. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Bring both those legs straight up over top of your hips. Bring your right leg over top of your left, letting it kind of rest on top of that thigh, just above your knee. Then you're going to lower that leg down, that left leg down as close to the ground as you can. Slowly bring it right back up. Just a regular leg lift, but this time with just a little extra weight from that other leg. Just makes it a little bit harder. You're going to feel it in those abdominal muscles, that hip flexor, and those quadriceps all through the front side of your body. Just make sure you're trying to keep that lower back flat against that mat, or at least as flat as you can. All right, let's go ahead and switch those legs and do the same thing on the other side. So this time that right leg's going to be out nice and straight, that left leg's going to be over top. Same exact motion, down as low as you possibly can go, and then right back up, trying to keep that lower back flat on that mat. Just have one more repetition. And go ahead and let it relax. All right, let's move on to the next one. We're doing leg raise toe taps. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Propping yourself up on your elbows just a little bit, kind of leaning forward some. You're going to bring those legs up to about a 45-degree angle off the ground. Then tap those toes, bending only at that knee, keeping that thigh perfectly flat, perfectly straight. Just barely tap that toe to the ground, then bring it right back up. You're going to feel this quite a bit in your hip flexors, a lot in those quadriceps, the top of that thigh. You're also going to have to contract those abdominal muscles and those obliques just a little bit just for control and support. And we're almost done. Just one more in each leg. And let it relax. All right, let's move on to the next one. We're doing a diagonal jackknife crunch. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Bring your right arm up over top of your head. You're going to crunch up diagonally across towards that left leg. This is exactly like a regular jackknife crunch, except you're only using one arm and one leg. So you're trying to get that shoulder up off the ground as high as you can, trying to get up towards that toe as high as you possibly can. Really nice tight squeeze on those abdominal muscles as well as those obliques from that rotation. And then nice and slow, let everything right back down, but don't let it completely touch. You're going to feel this quite a bit through those abs and those hip flexors and that quadricep. Now switch sides. We're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. So that left arm's coming across to that right leg. Just 2 more repetitions. Here's your last one. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. For our next exercise, we're doing standing toe touches. So go ahead and stand up for this one. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Bring those hands directly above your head. Bring one leg up off the ground really nice and high, reaching down with that opposite arm from leg, kind of diagonally across your body, reaching out towards that toe as far as you possibly can, trying to keep that leg as straight as possible. Now this motion is almost exactly like the last exercise you just did, but a standing motion instead of laying down on your back, which actually makes those muscles have to work in a very, very different way. So you're still working on those abdominal muscles, that hip flexor and that quadricep, but you're using them in a very different way than you did from that last exercise. Now make sure you control this motion really well the entire time. You don't want to swing or kick your leg. You want actually a nice, slow, controlled raise with that leg, as well as controlling that leg as it slowly drops back down. Just make sure you're alternating sides every single time, and just keep that motion nice and smooth under control. Just have one more on each side, and let it relax. All right, good job. You just finished this 8-minute abdominal workout routine.